Moscow is one of the most greenest cities in the world. There are plenty of parks that offer the best cityscapes, and we will have a walkthrough tour of them. These parks are popular with local and tourists alike. They are often not just nature and tranquility, but also many historical sites. This is another interesting thing you can do while you're in Moscow. This is a Kolomenskoye open-air museum and park. And if you're here, you can look at all of it as long as you like, and it's totally free. Kolomenskoye is a large park, just under 1,000 acres, and used to be a little village away from Moscow, but in the 1960s it's become a part of the city. Even I said it's free entry, but you can expand your horizons and you can have an organized excursion. Of course, would be already paid for, but it's not very expensive. So if you know the full history of this place, if you're interested in excursions, you can do that. Of course, they used to do this in every languages, but not now, because it's not the point. There are no foreign tourists here, are there? There behind me is a ticket office. I just have a look how much the excursions here. You will be very surprised. To join that excursion, it's £1, and special ticket is free, which means if your child, pensioner, disabled, veteran of war, it's free. And there are tickets to all the different exhibits, because they are very often different type of exhibitions, and the most expensive ticket was £2.50. They also have interactive excursion for children they can join. It's a sort of like a game. When they play in it, they go through the trail and they learn a history of this place, and in the end they win a prize, and it's £3 to join. I think it's pretty good. The Ascension Church, or Church Святого Вознесения, built to commemorate the birth of the heir of the throne, who became a Tsar later in life and well known to everyone under the name of Ivan the Terrible. This is not secret for anyone that I'm from Russia myself, and I'm always cold. And people always telling me, how can you be cold? You are from Russia, it's always cold there. Well, I am in Moscow now. It's the 9th of July and it's plus 32, which is just about the normal temperature here, because normally it's 22, 25, sometimes can get higher. Just for example, if it's 17, 18 degrees here, everybody putting jackets on and they're thinking it's really cold summer. When in England, at 18 degrees, everybody running to the sea and swimming because they're thinking it's a heat wave. So it's slightly different. But yes, in Russia, winter is really cold, but summers are really hot. They're short, but they're very hot. A lot hotter than in England. This is a palace pavilion, which was a part of all the summer palace complex, which was built for Alexander I in 1825. Alexander I was one of the Russian emperor. Park itself is very well looked after. It's very green, really clean, which is very important. And if you're here, please don't throw the rubbish everywhere. quiet. This is in the middle of one of the biggest city in the world. You can hear bells, church bells in the background. Park is just on the bank of the river Moscow, so in the summertime it's become a riverside resort. I love this whole mini oasis, mini botanical gardens they put here everywhere. So lovely. So that's the one of the entrances, and another entrance on another side. So you don't have to come back. You can go all the way through. Both of them about 300 meters from the underground. I did come back to the same entrance because I'm going to now to another place called Tsaritsyno, and it's easier through this underground station because it's a straight same line. But really you can go all the way through and end up on another side. I'm now in another very popular area called Tsaritsyno. You can actually do it in one day, but to be honest, in Tsaritsyno is a lot more to see. You can spend here whole day. But if you're short on time, you can do it in one day, because by underground from Kolomenskoye to Tsaritsyno, it's one line and it's only about 10 minutes because it's like 2 or 3 underground stops. So I'm here. Entrance to the park is free. But if you want to see the palaces and all that stuff, you have to pay. And I just discovered, which is really strange, the combined tickets, 10 rubles more expensive than if you buy 3 separate tickets, which is really weird. Anyway, I've got the tickets for the main palace, and I've got the tickets to the orangery. I don't know how it's called. I think it's called like a greenhouses. And it cost me just about £9. So, and I'm on the way to see. To be honest, I've never ever been here, even now from Moscow, because it's been renovated and rebuilt in early 2000. I left in 1998. Back then it was just a park, slightly run down with lots of ruins. So our way is just over there, as you can see. I tried there, as you can see, right at the top of the towers. This is the main palace where we're going, and this is just a park. Like I said, entrance is free. You can just come in, enjoy the weather. Oh, look at this, there's a wedding in the back. Look, wedding in the background. They came in to take pictures. Interesting dress. And this huge and a wonderful fountain here, which we'll come and have a look a little bit closely because it looks really nice. You are absolutely forbidden to swim in this fountain or in a river. But if you think, oh, I can take my chances, don't. The cameras everywhere. You see all these lights. You can see 1, 2, 3. This side and there, they all have a camera zone. So this fountain has about 10 different cameras around it to stop you swimming there. There is a no swim sign here, but why would you want to swim? Look at this water, how horrible and disgusting this is. Really green. Who wants to swim in this dirty puddle? A visit to Tsaritsyno Park should be on the top must-to-do places upon arrival in Moscow, right up there with the Red Square and Vada Ha. You know what? I haven't been inside yet, but from outside it looks amazing. I just remember there was literally a couple of the walls. This place was in totally ruin. Obviously, if I found some photographs from my time in 90s, I will put it, but I don't think I have any. But it was horrendous. But now it's stunning, and it's only £8.50 to visit this palace. I don't think I ever paid so cheap for any palaces. You normally pay 20-25 quid at least. So I'm actually quite excited to see it. It was built in a Russian Gothic style with pointed arches and towers. The palace consists of two wings, the chambers of Empress and her son Tsarevich Pavel. The interior decoration of the palace is amazing. Huge chandelier and candelabra, ceiling paintings, parquet flooring of the different types of wood, a sculpture of the Empress in a large hall. It's truly worth every penny. I followed the path of the royals, admired the pretentious palace and immersed myself in the Catherine era. As I previously mentioned, it was an abandoned palace. In Soviet time, it was possible to walk here only through the ruins. In the early 2000s, the royal chambers were revived and returned into the modern museum complex. So in essence, today's Tsaritsyno is a remake, a copy, recreated as a result of restoration. Palace also holds permanent and special exhibitions, take you through the ages of the royal, Soviet and modern times. This was a fashion until the 90s to have a carpet on the wall. I bought my rug from Russia. It's now on my floor, but it still has those little metal circles to hang it on the wall, metal clips. But because they were on the wall, most of the people have them in a perfect condition. Those ones from 70s. But to be honest, they're so amazing. I would love to have one of those. Really nice. Look at the colors. Colors, amazing. They are 1971. This one are papier-mâché, and then after they hand painted and lacquer on top. I've got very tiny box at home. All the 60s and 70s crystal. And all this you would be happy to buy, and you pay a lot of money to have it now, and this is from 66, 67. It's a very big park, so you can get one of those electromobile. There are also 3 greenhouses, which were dismantled first but restored in 2008 after a long history behind them, dating back to the early 1740s. But personally, I found them a bit boring. This tree right behind me, this one, 300 years old. It's protected by government. It's 30 meters high and 1.5 meters wide. But those type of tree I don't know how to call in English. Unfortunately, I will put this on the screen. They live up to 500 years, so this tree still have 200 years to go. So it's kind of middle-aged tree. Well, I've seen the palace, I've seen the greenhouses, and I decided to have a little break. I'm sit down here on the grass with a nice view behind me, and I bought myself 3 donuts. They're sugar coated, and this is the most amazing donuts you can get. No offense, but they're much better than English one because they're very fluffy, very soft, and they're hot. You have to actually wait because there's so many people there. 3 donuts of this size cost you about £1.50. By the way, if you're pensioner, you get 10% off. I'm not really far from it because in Russia 55 age for women and 60 for men, you become a pensioner. Although they did raise to 60 and 65, but it's not valid until 2029. So unfortunately I'm not gonna make it. I'll have to be 60. So this one, look how fluffy inside. They're just delicious, and I've got 3 of those. The general impression that it is an incredibly beautiful place for lovers of Russian history and nature. Everything here seems to take you back to the last century. The palace in style of Versailles and tinted fountains surrounded by wide shady alleys and large meadows and silence. You can forget that you are not in a big noisy city, but in some fabulous place in the countryside. Access to the park is open daily from morning to midnight and admission is free. At night, many places take on a special magic and mystery, offering an unforgettable experience, and this place is no exception. Before construction began, Catherine wrote, "Don't spare any of your imagination." And indeed, the palace looked extremely beautiful at night. Although, while the park's museum and certain buildings closed after sunset, the park's ground, including its picturesque landscape at the exterior of its grand palaces and bridges, are illuminated with lights, offering a magical nighttime experience. During the reconstruction, it was decided to replace a little island in the middle of the lake with a light and music fountain, which looks especially amazing when the light goes down. I noticed a lot of couples turning up to the park later the day for romantic strolls.